Okay. Mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Let's see here. Hmm. Put a one in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Get the sound of my voice. Put a one in the chat. I know it's late, but I felt like I need just to do a video. I was a little reluctant in coming out and doing a video, but I think it's necessary at this time to just have a discussion with you guys. People have been asking me, Mr. Byron, do a video, talk about this. I really didn't want to give too much time to it, but it appears that it might be necessary. It might be necessary. I want you guys to just listen to what I have to say. And there have been several content creators who have talked about this subject, but I hadn't really spoke on it. I might have tweeted, I might have wrote a poem, but I think I need to put everything in context for those who are interested in this whole topic involving content creator Tisa Tells. I call her a shock jock. There's nothing wrong being a shock jock. Howard Stern was a shock is still a shock jock. Nancy Grace is a shock jock. But I want to be certain that people understand my position on a few things. The first thing I want to address is the situation that happened on the day of the verdict outside the courthouse. Still on federal grounds, but outside the courthouse nevertheless. When that situation occurred with some content creator by the name of Ratchet TV, I don't know the person. I don't think I ever seen the person before. I might have seen the person walking the grounds, but people speak to me all the time. I'll say hi in passing, but I don't know the individual. And when I saw the video, I took issue with that video. And the reason why I took issue with that video is no one deserves to be heckled while there was a lot of heckling happening outside the courthouse with different people since I was covering the trial. There were hecklers just doing the most in the front of the courthouse. That happened to happen in the courtyard of the federal court grounds. And I don't think it's fair for anyone to just heckle someone when they're doing their job. It's a way of dealing with that. You know, you could pull a person to the side. You can say, "Hey, listen, I didn't like your coverage because of this reason." I'll give you an example. Queen's Flip, who's a content creator, mother was outside the courthouse and inside the courthouse watching the Diddy trial. She had a strong opinion about Diddy's guilt, and she had a position she took. And she and I had discussion outside the courthouse talking about her position and what she heard, and I was talking about what I heard in my position as to that particular piece of testimony. We never shouted at each other. We had a grown conversation, and we agreed to disagree on certain issues. And that may happen with a few people, but I would never heckle anyone because I disagree with their position. I may write about it, I may talk about it, I may discuss it with that person, but I will never heckle people when they do their job. And I'll tell you why. When I was doing the reporting, I think I was on Court TV one day, and someone, I was about to get on Court TV, and some guy I'd never seen before, he was just heckling people, and he stopped where I was position in front of the courthouse. And I don't know if anyone's seen that live, but he said a few words to me. And at that moment, I didn't lose my cool. I said, I'll talk to you when I'm done. He kept talking. I said, I'll talk to you when I'm done. I didn't lose my cool. So after I was done, then he saw me. I said, you had something to say to me. He didn't have anything to say. So I realized at that moment, that person was a clout chaser. He was doing things on camera because he felt like I wouldn't address the situation. But when my camera went off and I approached him, he didn't have anything to say. He moved on to the next person. And I've seen this happen with Armand Wiggins. I saw a video with him, and he was in the courtyard, the same area where Tisa was heckled. And this girl was heckling Armand Wiggins. And he didn't know the woman, but she was heckling him. But what I saw, no one's really talking about this. What I saw was a video of Tisa getting, in the background. There's the videos out there, and she was looking at the video, looking at what was happening. She was recording it. She did nothing different than what the other content creators were doing when she was being heckled. They were recording. So this wasn't something that wasn't an uncommon practice at the courthouse. There were many situations where people were being heckled. There was fights about to be broken out. There was just a lot of recording. But one thing I didn't do is I didn't record the foolishness while I was covering the trial. I didn't record that. Unless it was newsworthy, and a lot of that stuff wasn't newsworthy. It was a lot of people trying to get clout. And I don't know what the guy's motivation was when he approached Tisa. It could be a whole clout thing, because he was shouting over a video the same way a woman was shouting over Armand's video when he was live. Neither situation was cool, but both situations happened in the same area where Tisa was doing her live. The only difference between what happened with Armand and Tisa was Tisa had bodyguards by her side. She had 2 bodyguards there. I didn't think she needed it, but she felt she needed it, and that's her choice. But when the situation occurred, it was no different than any other heckler that was heckling someone. There was no threats of violence in that courtyard on that day when the exchange happened. There was a back and forth between the two. But there was no violence there. There was no threat of, I'm going to kill you either. But I heard from that person's mouth that someone threatened to kill her. Unless that occurred out of the earshot of the cameras, it didn't happen there because everyone had phones. You would have seen video footage of that happening. That didn't happen. Nevertheless, she had a First Amendment right to speak, no different than he had a First Amendment right to speak. It happens all the time, especially in New York. This is not something that's foreign. This happens. As long as no one put hands on anyone, this happens. No different than the person that tried to heckle me. As long as you don't come in my space and do anything that I perceive as a threat, we good. And Tisa was good. And I think that what people are missing, I don't know why people are doing this, what they are missing is what the message was. Everyone has a right to speak. But if you're part of the media, you have a responsibility to tell the truth. Let's not miss that. You have a responsibility to tell the truth. And if that doesn't resonate with you, then maybe you shouldn't be watching this live. And I'm not conflating the two. This person was exercising his First Amendment right, and Tisa was exercising her First Amendment right. Freedom of speech, freedom of the press. And you might not like the tonage that was used, but she was in no threat at all. And that's the reality. No one was going to touch her. No one was going to put a hand on her. Because then that would have been a problem for him. Whatever ideas or thoughts that people want to manufacture, that just wasn't a reality. And Tisa knew she wasn't in no threat. She had 2 paid security guards there. She was in an enclosed situation. He was a heckler. People heckle. They do it. This is what, some people was doing for clout chasing. Whatever. I never felt I need to use that kind of content. And I've seen a lot of it, but I wasn't recording it. If I happen to be live and that happens, I'm not going to stop the camera. But I wasn't there. When that was going down, I was in the front of the courthouse doing reporting. And I was on a national show doing commentary. And she was on her platform doing commentary, but it was in a public space. It was in a public space. So what I tend to do is if I don't want people around me, then I move to another place or move off the grounds and go somewhere where I can do my broadcasting. Because the reporters that had tents set up, they had an area across from the courthouse where they did their live shots. And when I did my live shot, I was in the area where I wasn't being interrupted. It's not that serious. But with that said, if you want to wear the badge of a journalist, you have a responsibility to tell the truth. And that's just what it is. And there were things that were said that was just not true. There were many things that were said that just wasn't true. And that's where some individuals had an issue with. When you say on your platform that content creators were being gifted with transcripts that amounted to 60K, that definitely wasn't true. It wasn't true. How do we know it wasn't true? Because she never said what content creator ever received a gift worth 60K. She never put a name. She's very careful not putting names out there. It's easy to say something, but if you can't support it with, put a name on it. That's being transparent. Just don't say anything, because you leave that for others to speculate. And there are content creators and reporters that cover this trial. When you say that, you use a broad brush without identifying who are the individuals allegedly who was taking graft or gifts. And then you say Diddy's team. Who in Diddy's team is gifting anyone with items with a value of $2,000 a day? That's not true either. I had a media pool set up from the very beginning of the trial. And in that media pool, you had access to videos, photos, daily transcripts, and exhibits, and updates on what was happening. That was established in the very beginning. And I have my receipts for transcripts that I paid for. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there was not one day a transcript exceeded $500. not one day. And for the whole trial, the total cost of the transcripts for the entire trial was $22,000. $22,000. If you do the calculations from all the, I could give you an exact number of all the pages that came out of the trial. I can give you an exact number. All I have to do is count each daily and multiply that times $1.40. And that's the total of all transcripts. That's the mathematics behind it. And it definitely didn't amount to $60K. Nowhere near that. So that number was just not true. That number was not true. And if you want to see the receipts, I have receipts. And that person, if that person paid for a transcript, then they should have receipts. If they pay for a transcript, they should have receipts. But that's where it gets kind of sketchy, because the person never says what member of Puffy's team gave transcripts for free and asked them. This is where it gets really questionable. What member of Puffy team asked a content creator to embellish on the truth or write a slanted story? Who was the person, and how would you know that happened? Just because you said they came to you and offer you transcripts, if they offer you transcripts, did they give you, and she didn't say this either. I noticed she's very careful. What she didn't say was, they said, I offer you transcripts under the condition that you write a slanted story. She never said that. And she never said who the individual was. But she never said anyone told her in particular to write a slanted story. But she says this about, she gives a general statement about other content creators. If that happened, how would you know that? Just use common sense. How would you know the communications that individual had with others? Were you standing there next to the person or persons when this happened? Were you invited to these secret meetings? It doesn't make any sense. That's where logic and reasoning should kick in. That's where the logic and reasoning should kick in. You just can't say anything without supporting it with some type of evidence. We went through a whole trial and we wanted to hear evidence. We wanted to match the evidence up with the testimony. And sometimes testimony is evidence. But if you say something and you say this as a fact, that a member of Sean Combs' team gifted content creators with transcripts and told them gave them highlights and say, you got to report this. Who did that happen with and when? No one even asked that question. Hey, this doesn't even sound right. How would she know that there was a meeting with content creators and they were told to say something? Because if you knew that, that would be the story. That would be the breaking news story that you would be reporting on. Not some generalization of what you suspect or what you have a suspicion of, because that's hogwash. That's nonsense. That's bullshit. That's what it is. It's bullshit. You got to realize that if you don't put a name to it, no face, no case. If you are not able to articulate with details who, what, when, where, why, and how, then it's bullshit. That is a fact. That is a fact. And I think that's where people have missed the message and why others are upset. You have people that actually reporting on the trial. And it's almost like you're playing Jedi mind trick with people or a game of three-card Monte. You're not really saying who, what, where, when, why, and how. You're just generalizing and just saying things. And I think that's what people are having an issue with. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to say this. I hadn't watched her coverage of the trial. I only was sent links after the fact. I didn't really have time. I got on one content creator's page during the trial, and that was Armand's. And him and I even debated in the courtyard about certain testimony and position. But it was very respectful. And Tisa and I talked. She and I always had be respectful to each other. I just had an issue with the way that she was reporting. And I said to her, I'll debate you. If you want to debate, let's debate on it. I said this. I didn't have a problem with it. But I think that we have to, as members of the press, journalists, have to be willing to call someone out if you feel that they are not telling the truth. You can't be mad about that. You cannot be mad about someone, the first trial. This is their first trial covering a case. The first trial. So obviously, there are journalists that are watching. If they're not watching, they're not a good journalist. If they're not watching misinformation, and they shouldn't really focus too much on the misinformation, but keep their information accurate all the time. And then it can be matched up with evidence. But to just say things, and it's like, I don't know if it's personal or it's a orchestrated campaign. I don't know if it's orchestrated or it's personal. But she was not the only one that was doing that. I want to be very clear. Tisa was not the only one that was reporting the story inaccurately. There was someone from the major media outlet that was doing similar. That's important. But I did see those two talking. I did see them huddling up during courtroom breaks. They were huddling up and they were talking, and I don't know what they were saying. I don't want to speculate, but they were huddling up during breaks. And I was watching everything. Why do you keep talking about Nancy Grace? Let me tell you something about Nancy Grace, so you youngins understand. Nancy Grace was with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office back in the 90s. The minute Paul Howard took office as a district attorney, she said she couldn't work for him anymore. She didn't want to work with the black man. She did not want to work with the black man, Paul Howard, who was the first black district attorney in Fulton County, Georgia. She did not want to work with the black man. I'm sorry, guys. Someone's sending me a text. Hold on. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But she didn't want to work with the black man. And if you look at her style of reporting, ladies and gentlemen, it's questionable. It's questionable. But she's a shock jock. Shock jocks do things to get people's attention. The shock and awe of everything. But that's her style. But people still have the right to say, hey, listen, hey, that's you on that bullshit. They can say that. But you still have a way, you should have a way of doing it. But again, there was a lot of hecklers outside the courthouse. She wasn't the only one that was being heckled. I was being heckled by one individual for a few seconds until I think that person got the message and they backed away. But there was a lot of that happening. She wasn't exempt. It was happening. There were fights breaking out in the front of the courthouse. There were fights breaking out, and I saw 2 or 3. I think there were about 2 or 3 arrests. It happens. It wasn't that serious. It was. I think it got amplified because one, she was on live, and he was on live, and then others were gathering around recording it. Again, people were just trying to get content. It was a weird way of doing it, but at that moment, they decided to pick on her. Now, am I justifying that behavior? Absolutely not. Do I say that that person had the First Amendment right to freedom of speech? Absolutely. You can't muffle someone because you don't like what they're saying. They have a First Amendment right to speak. No different than Tisa has a First Amendment right to speak. So let's not mix the two. My issue was it was a claim of death threats that didn't happen. That's dangerous. That's like the white woman calling the cops on the black guy saying the guy was doing this. I mean, you can't be making false claims when it didn't happen. Someone said I was very poised. So did you put a 1 in the chat when you saw that heckler? The heckler, I saw someone in the comment. Put a 1 in the chat if you were witnessing that heckler trying to heckle me, and how did I handle that situation? How did I handle that situation? I kept focus. I kept focus. As long as they didn't come in my space, we good. We are good. But if I perceive a threat, I'm going to neutralize the threat. But I'm not going to give that person the attention, because then that person has won. That person saw that I wasn't affected by what he was saying, and he moved on to the next person, because he went right down and found the next person to heckle. But whenever I see someone do this, I'm going to show you guys. When I was at the courthouse, when people walk up like this to me, they fall into their chest, and they start talking to me. And there was this one girl who did that. No, 2 people did that. And I had to check them. I said, "Are you recording me?" I would say, "Yeah." I said, "First of all, did you ask to record me? You walking up to me like this? You want to talk to me, or you want to record me? Because if you want to record me, I don't have anything to say. If you want to talk to me, we can talk." And then the person says to me, "Well, you're outside in the public, but so you should expect to be." No, you don't walk in New York City too. You don't just walk up to a person like this and start asking questions. And the minute I say, "Are you recording?" you say, "Yes." It's okay. All right, I got nothing to talk to you about. Because you walked up to me like because you wanted content. You didn't walk up to me because you wanted to have a conversation. It's a different conversation. That's a whole different conversation. And I think there was a lot of people, shout out to Spitting Fire, I appreciate you Spitting Fire. There's a lot of people that was looking for content that wasn't covering the trial. They're just doing too much. There were a lot of people that were there that really wasn't there for the trial. That's the difference. If you see a person's channel and all they have on there is the exterior drama and no reporting on what was happening in the courtroom, then they weren't really there for that purpose. And if you spent your money to come out to New York City and you didn't make your money because you wasn't doing the work, then that's on you. That's not no one else to blame. Because there were times that when I went live, I ended my live, I'm seeing like 80, 90,000 people that viewed it. I could have went live a lot more. I could have went live every 2 hours. But then I would have been missing things. But in the end, I would say this. If you're going to do reporting, just be responsible about it. I think that's where some people have missed the message. Just be responsible about your reporting. You have the First Amendment right to speak, but be responsible about your reporting. Because then people are going to call you out. This is not about man versus woman, good versus evil. This is about just being responsible. Don't call, if you engage in the same manner in which the person is engaging you with, then you both are equally responsible. You're both equally responsible. People are using this moment to talk about everything else but this moment. We all go through things in life. People have personal situations they've dealt with that may be similar to what came out of this trial. But that may be something that you got to deal with on the side. There are things that happened in this trial that I saw with my own eyes that I can't unsee and unhear. And you say, oh, Mr. Byron, did he support it? No, I'm a supporter of justice. I'm a supporter of justice. And if the evidence doesn't support the indictment, then the jurors have the opportunity to speak. But you got to respect the jury's verdict. You can't call jurors stupid after they've given their time. This is a responsibility that is not afforded to everyone to sit on a jury. You can't then tell a jury they're stupid. That's not responsible or respectful. It's not. People give their life, a part of their life up to be a part of a jury. The least we can do is respect the commitment that they've had in this trial. They actually did the work. You can't come back out and say they're stupid. And when you don't agree with somebody, just, you can't say I'm first of all, before I go any further, I want all those who are watching now to hit the thumbs up for me, please. Because we can go a little longer. We can start sharing some other things. But I don't do lives like this all the time. But if you're going to watch, hit the thumbs up. I didn't share this. I didn't tweet this or nothing. This is past my bedtime. If you're watching, you're listening, hit the thumbs up. Show me some love. Because I don't be saying hit the Cash App all the time. But you can do that if you agree with me. You can hit the Cash App. You can hit the Super Chat. It's okay. It ain't going to cost you nothing. Or I can sit here, you want me to make up stories all night and all day and lie, and I can do that too. But I wouldn't sleep good at night. I just wouldn't. It's just not in my constitution. But you can just show some love. Tap it. Make sure you follow it. Support the platform. Support the platform. If I wanted to, I could tell you, I can be a whole different character if I really wanted to. If I put my all into it, and I'm being facetious, that's not my all. But if I wanted to talk propaganda all day, be a shock jock, I could be a shock jock. I got the personality. I got the wherewithal. I could be a shock jock all day and go ham and start clowning on people and just be over the top. I'd be like I don't know, some of you might be old enough to remember, there was a store in New York called Crazy Eddie's. If anyone remember Crazy Eddie's, was in the Bronx. This is an old story now. I'm going back. Oh, Eddie Anzar. You Google the name and Google the commercial, Crazy Eddie commercial. I could be just like Crazy Eddie. But you don't want me to be Crazy Eddie. Then you're going to say, what happened to Mr. Byron? I got to share something with you guys. I should have told you this story early on. I don't want to get off the subject. I was rushed to the hospital yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sharing a little of my life. I came home and I wanted to do some landscaping because that's kind of therapeutic for me, do landscaping. I wanted to trim the hedges and, do a little trimming and everything. So I came out with my hedger, and I went to an area where a lot of bushes was. You better not laugh when I tell you the story now. I started cutting this area. I was in the groove. All of a sudden, I felt something hit me in the back of my neck. Bang! My arm, bang! My hand, bang, bang, bang. I was being attacked by these yellow, they call it, what is it, yellow tails? Bees. I was being attacked by a bunch of bees. Listen, when I tell you, I got to make sure my neighbor doesn't have the ring camera. I felt like I was fighting 20 people. They were on my ass. They would hit me left, right. I was running up my driveway. Help! Get them off of me. Yo, listen, when I tell you, I didn't know I was allergic to bees. Those mofos hit me everywhere. I was like, oh, they on my ass, everything. I was like, damn. Ah! My hand was like this. They put an IV, the ambulance came. My neighbors came out. Yo, I was running, I swear I felt like I was running half a mile. My neighbors came out. At that point, I was out of breath and everything. Lumps all over me. And the ambulance came and they put a IV in me, a Benadryl IV drip. Guys, I'm almost out of here. I'm laughing today, but yesterday, you guys think I'm lying? Hold on. I don't want to dox myself, but I was in the emergency room. No, I don't want to show you paperwork. Oh my goodness! But it happened, and hopefully my neighbors don't have the video ring camera footage. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I have never been stung by a bee before. It was like the first one hit me, and I felt something. I said, "Ooh, that hurt. Ooh, what was that?" The next thing I know, they hit me in the back of my head and on my body, in my back. They would hit me all over the place. Hold on a second here. Like, you look at my arm, there's one right there. They would hit me all over the place. It was scary, man. I didn't listen. It felt like the longest 3 minutes of attacks. Yeah, I disturbed the beehive. I did. I had the Black and Decker. I was like, trying to line that thing up nicely. Next thing I know, something hit me. I'm like, I threw that Black and Decker. I was up there like Bruce Jenner. Help! Get him off of me! Get him off of me! I'm like, oh my goodness. The neighbors came out. I think I'm only black guy in my neighborhood. So you got a big black guy running. Oh my goodness. I'm laughing, but yo, my hand, everything. They were hitting me everywhere. True story. I didn't listen. I was going to share it with you, but I think I had to share it because, listen. I'll fight a nigga in a heartbeat, but a bee, multiple. It wasn't one bee. I swear it felt like 20 of them on me. They were on me. They were on my ass, hitting me. Ooh, hitting the back of my head too. I got a little lump back of my head. They would hit me so I'm like, wait a minute. Yellow jackets, that's where they were. Yellow jackets. That's what they were, yellow jackets. And it was, when I tell you, whew. So they had me on the drip. I think I was in the hospital for about 4 hours. But yeah. At that moment, I wish my ass was back in New York at that hearing. Listen, I should, at that time, the hearing was going on. My ass should have been in New York at that hearing because I wouldn't have been doing landscaping. Now, I tell you now, the Mexicans getting all that money. They can do that. You do that. Listen, go in there and cut all that, trim that down, and go on the back. And I'll point, I need that cut down, and I'm done. I just retired from landscaping. No more landscaping. Listen, I don't think I'm not even mowing the grass anymore. Man, those niggas on my ass. I'm like, oh, my daughter. Listen, the ambulance called my daughter, my daughters. Oh my goodness, yo. Anyway, I had to share that with you guys, but that happened. That happened. Yeah, I'm never doing that. Now, it was therapeutic for me to do that the landscaping because I have it's exercise when I mold because I have a lot of back. The back properties is it was good exercise, but the hedging because I've done that I've done that for a couple of years that area, but because I was going what I think it was because I was in New York for that long period of time, and when you go in you don't have your landscape done. Sometimes cobwebs form, and they must have formed something. Because when I came in that area, it was like, woo. But it is what it is. Won't do that no more. But your boy was almost out of here. They had me on that Benadryl drip. I'm like, woo. Wait a minute. Yo, look at that. That's where they had the IV at. Whew. But I'm good now. Let me read some comments. Let's see. Hold a second here. Hold a second here. Let's see here. Let me read some of the comments here. Put the blunt down. I don't get high. So I put the blunt down. I don't smoke. Let's see. Yeah, I'm allergic to bees. I have a lot of trees close to my house. Hold on. I have a lot of trees close to my house. Hold on a second. Man, all those bees hurt. I ain't messing with those bees. Oh, you had okay. So I had yellow jackets in my chimney. Listen. I never heard of a yellow jacket. I mean, I got a yellow jacket, but I never heard of a yellow jacket until when the EMT came. He said, "Oh, it looks like you got hit with some yellow jackets." What the hell's a yellow jacket? I never knew anything about a yellow jacket. I'm a city boy. I'm from the Bronx. We don't know about yellow jackets. Yo, yellow jackets sound like a gang. You know? If I heard yellow jackets in the Bronx, it was a gang. Yeah, they are. Oh, they are aggressive. Ooh. Yo, listen. When I tell you I was running, they were on my ass. I was running. They were still on me. Some guys, I might do a video. My neighbors might have the ring footage. I hope they listen. I'm gonna tell you now. So if that footage show up, I done told you, so it won't be a surprise. If my neighbor is that kind of neighbor and he wants to put the footage out, I'm telling you what happened. I'm gonna tell you what it looked like. You're gonna hear grown niggas screaming. They got me. Come help, help, help. Get them off of me. Yo, I had my running sneakers on too. I was out of here. I was like, damn. At that moment, I didn't know if I wanted to run in my house and turn the shower on, or I couldn't move that quick because my garage is, and I have a level up from my garage. I didn't want to bring him in the house. I said I didn't want to lure him back to the house. So I said, let me run somewhere. I definitely disturbed him. You can't outrun no bees. I don't care what no one tell you. I don't care how fast you think. You can't outrun no bees. Nothing. You can't kick them. You can't hit them. Like, when I try to hit one, another one hit me. They fight back. And they're aggressive. That's all I can say. Those yellow jackets. I know what a yellow jacket is now. I'm waiting till I get to this age to be attacked by bees. It's crazy. You remember a scene in Martin where I think he was attacked by bees, and you saw those lumps. I had those lumps. Like I looked at my hand. It was like, whoo. My hands like, oh, I was lumped up all over the place. So they said it's gonna take about a week. I'm still, taking Benadryl just in case, Anyway, as far as Tisa goes, she was doing her, she was doing what she does, and this is what she does. But as far as anyone threatening her, no, they weren't threatening her. She was never in any harm's way. I'm not going to go over everything that hurt. I'm just going to tell you that moment, that was the issue I took with her. And it got ratchet. I mean, he definitely could have handled that differently. I don't think that was called for, screaming, heckling anyone while they're, working. That's not cool. It's not cool. I have to say, it's not cool. You heckle people while they're working. I mean, that's a different conversation. But both of them have a right to speak, but they both have a right to be responsible. Can anyone understand what I'm saying? They both have a right to speak, but they both have a responsibility to be honest. That's all I'm saying. Don't hate me for that position. It's a position that I live by. And I'm going to tell you something else. I wanted Tisa to get opportunities to get on TV as much as she wanted, and I'll tell you why. She's entertaining. And mind you, I hadn't listened to the things she was saying on the platform. I didn't really, when people were content creators, and I could tell you a list of them that were doing lives outside that I walked past, I didn't really pay attention to what they were doing. But she will tell you, I made a phone call for her for an opportunity that said, well, if they talking to this person, they probably should talk to this person. And I did that. But do I regret doing that? Absolutely not. Because ultimately, you can get a person to the door, but it's up to that person to be able to walk through that door. And they're responsible for whatever they do. Like when I get on TV and I'm talking to millions of people, I know what I say, people are going to remember. And I didn't even, you know what's interesting? I did these shows and I never posted the videos on my social media. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Like I'll probably post some of the videos from some of the shows I appeared on. But I never did that. I don't know why. I just been busy. I didn't do it. But I will do it, to put a clip up there once or twice or something like that. I'll do one. I'll put one or two clips up. Now let me read some of the comments. Let's see here. Let me see what we got going on. Dennis, Adam Lee Kels, new. Okay. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. The IE network, I would not have never told nobody I was getting these transcripts, is still coming outside lying. I don't know what that means. Okay. Right. Someone said that's your opinion. Anything that I say is my opinion. What do you say? That's your opinion. Duh, hello. That's my opinion. Like, what do you say? You thought you said something profound? That's your opinion. Were you trying to be profound when you said that? Is that what you're trying to do? Mr. Byron, that's your opinion. Hello. That's my opinion. And If there were facts there, those are the facts. So what are you saying? The IE Network preacher, I would never root for anyone who hates black men. Oh, I'm not rooting, but one thing I do, you got to understand this, is I put a lot of people on in my career. I've helped a lot of people. They might not say that, but I've helped a lot of people. I don't need to pinpoint the people who I've helped. I've helped people become editors of some big outlets, Huffington Post, Vibe Magazine, various major platforms. But I don't tell everybody what I do. But I make the phone call. I still can make calls for people. I do that. It's like certain things you just can't take with you. You can't. But I'm not going to aid and abet someone pushing lies. And that what I won't do. I won't do that. I'm not aiding and abetting anyone in pushing a false narrative. And once I find out that, I'm falling back. I really can't really touch that. Like I said, I hadn't watched the lives. I don't know. I only get the stuff after the fact. You got to remember, covering that trial, you had to be up early in the morning. And those who watched my platform during the trial knew I was at the courthouse sometimes before it turned light. Sometime before it turned light. You got to remember, I not only was in the courtroom taking notes, but I also was outside. Let's give you guys an idea. The family would arrive, just give you an idea. The lawyers would arrive anywhere from 8:15 to 9 o'clock. I should be freezing. What do you mean, would I do anything different? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I'm going to end this live. Let's see. That's interesting. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, good. Okay, good. All right, good. Okay. Someone said if I could do anything different about what? Be more specific. If I could do anything different, different about what? Okay, I'm good now. Appreciate you, D. And shout out to D the mod. D the mod be on it. On it. D the mod. I also got to see if people got kicked out. Kicked out while I was gone. So people call me up. Hey, Mr. Byron, I can't see you anymore. Well, we're gonna check that tonight. Let's see. Okay. All right. I'm good now. Okay. Can Puffy sue her for defamation? He got to open lawsuit, $100 million. I don't know what, if anything, she said would be defamatory. I don't know if or what she said. Well, she's very careful not to say names, so I think she's clear there. Okay. If I could change anything about covering this case, I didn't think about that one. That's a good question. I don't know. I felt like I did everything I could do with the resources I had. Um, I mean, you got to remember, this is a federal trial where we didn't have electronics to bring in the courtroom, so it was a lot of note taking. But I don't know if I would do anything different. And I talked to Charlucci as well, and I asked a similar question. As a matter of fact, hold on. As a matter of fact, Hold on, guys. I interviewed Charlucci myself. I did. I just didn't publish the interview. Stand by. I want to show you guys. I did a lot of interviews actually that I didn't release yet because we're doing a documentary. So let's grab one of the videos here. Hold on. Here we go. Most congratulations to the family, the legal team, and everyone. I was wondering why you had that picture in here. Okay, so please find just a little bit so I can just kids both in the frame. I know emotions have been running high since the announcement of a verdict yesterday. Yes. Yesterday in the courtroom, when Mr. Combs learned that there was a verdict, his reaction was of surprise. And he had said some words to his mother. Can you talk about what he said to his mother at that moment in time? He told her he loved her, and he told her, "You're gonna be okay. If you trust in God." You know, there's been a lot of, and the media played a crucial role in the coverage of this case. What are some of the things you think media got wrong in this case? Got wrong? I would say they got nothing wrong. They just didn't understand the charges and the facts. They were just running off with rumors and allegations. I didn't think they did enough investigation into what the facts are. That's what they didn't do. The facts just wasn't. Okay, hold on, hold on. It wasn't sexual. Okay, so I'm going to release my interview tomorrow, but I did a lot of interviews, ladies and gentlemen. That was just one of them. And I tend not to. You guys see me do a few interviews live, but I did a lot of my interviews that wasn't live, just because I wanted to get the better quality and not have any interruptions, so to speak. But yeah, that was me interviewing Charlucci. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Well, you said something with the t-shirts. Hold on. Talk about the t-shirts. Doreen, are you talking about me holding the t-shirt up? Is that what you were talking about? Okay, you say you just couldn't see. Okay, hold on. Oh yeah, now you know your boy gonna get the interviews now. You guys know that. You know, let me. I want to show you something else, but I better wait till tomorrow. One of the attorneys on the day of the verdict, all the reporters were gathered around, the camera people, everyone was gathered. They were waiting for the lawyers to come to the court. This was the key day. One of the lawyers walks up. He doesn't talk to nobody. He walks up. He gets to where you go into the courtroom, the courthouse, and he sees me. He stops right there, walks up to me, extends his hand. I shake his hand. He says, "You're doing a great job." One of the attorneys. The reporters, everyone's saying, "What did he say to you?" And the guy behind me heard him. Can anyone guess what attorney did that? He didn't have to do that, but he's it was like, oh my goodness, these guys are watching my reporting. Brian, D, you right. D, how did you know it was Brian? How did you know that? Wait a minute. How did you know that? Oh my goodness. Well, hold on. No, I got a better story. Now, I want you guys to take that and make me anything that mean nothing. So I'm in the building. My back is turned. I'm in the building on the line, and I'm talking to other people on the line. And my back is turned, and I'm talking to the people. I'm talking to my colleagues on the line. We just kicking the woolly bobo. Then someone rubs my back and walks past me and smiles and waves. Who do you guys think it is? No, it's Mr. Still rubbing my back. Who do you think it is? Let's see if you can guess who you think it was. Damn, Ray, you too good. It was Nicole. Wait a minute, hold on. This is, come on. This is, wait, hold on. Oh my goodness. Ray, how did you figure that out? How did you figure that out? Oh my God. Wow. Listen, listen, listen. You guys are too good. I don't know how you figured that out. Yes, it was Mr. Westmoreland. Let's see, who else? Who else? Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. I bet you, listen, I bet you not going to figure this, I bet you ain't going to figure this one out. You ain't going to figure this one out. It's another attorney. He represents one of the alleged victims. He talks. He acknowledges me, but he's one of he. I don't know if you guys can figure this one out. He represents one of the victims in the case, alleged victims in the case. Let's see here. Hell no, it was no Tyrone. No, no, no. Okay, you got it. Who said that? Who said that? Damn, you got. Listen. It's at Let's see who that is. I'm trying to see your name. That's my baby. That's my baby. That's my baby. Listen, you guys are too good. I can't listen. I can't do it. I can't do it. Let me see what else. Let me see if I got any good footage. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see if I got something. Let me see if I share some footage with you guys. Hold on. Hold on. Oh shoot. Hold on. You guys want to see some? You want to see something cool? You guys want to see something cool? I'll share a little bit something else with you guys. Hold on. It's late, but I'll share something with you guys. Hold on. Let's see what we got here. I gotta be careful. Hold on. Let's see what I got. Hold on. Stand by. Oh. Oh. Oh, I got some good stuff here. Oh my God. This might be it. Tomorrow, guys, I'm gonna have some serious drops tomorrow. Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on. Let me show you this, guys. Hold on, hold on. You ready? You ready, guys? You ready? Hold on. I think this is so cool.
One more for going, Mr. One more for going, Mr. One more for going, Mr. One more for going, Mr.
Okay, hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Okay, hold on. Oh my God.
It's me, sir. It's me. I'm here. What is you talking about?
Oh my God. Here we go. Hold on.
Mr. Donaldson, how do you feel today? This is a good day. How do you feel? Did we get a verdict today? No, you can't pay your own rent.
Okay, hold on.
Mr.
Doug with
Donaldson, how do you
right.
feel today? This is a good day. How do you feel?
Hold on here. Hold on. Hold on. So this is one of the content creators. I'm gonna see if I can turn this around. Here we go. Let me open this up a little bit. Here we go. We'll do this one real quick. Hit that.
But she didn't want to get up and get a job.
Yo, that was so funny. Simone Redwin was doing when I walked over there, I didn't know what I was walking into. I'm panning the whole courtyard. So I get to Queen Amadella. I'm jacking the name up, Queen A. Then I get to Simone. I'm like, well, Simone, what the hell you got going on over here? I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, but she was doing. She was discussing Mary, uh, Jane Doe. Excuse me, Jane Doe. I thought that was a funny clip. I said, listen, I'm publishing this, but I'm gonna put the full version of all the content creators. I think that's gonna be for the doc. I think I might hold that footage for the doc. Let me see. What'd you say? Anna says, you don't realize it was. Let's see here. You don't realize it, but in years, the content you have will be worth a lot. Yeah. See, and here's the other. You guys don't realize this is important. Not many people realize this. I do licensing deals with content. So I wasn't just in the courtroom. I was getting the content for licensing. So I was multitasking. So there were times that I dedicated getting exclusive video footage of things that can be used. I always have a production mindset when I cover trials. So without giving too much game away, that's why I didn't really have opportunity to see the other extra BS that was happening, because it was not something really I could use. It wasn't things that I can really use for my platform. And I wasn't really trying to put people in the worst light either. So there was a lot of stuff people were shooting. I wasn't interested in that. That's just me. There was drama occurring with different individuals. I wasn't interested in that at all. So I was of a different mindset when I went in to cover this. And I'm kind of glad I was, because otherwise I wouldn't really get the job done for the reason why I was there. This was a very expensive project. Being in New York for 6, 7, 8 weeks is expensive. And you guys got to understand that I was doing it for you guys. So when I say support the platform, I have things, an interview I did that I didn't release yet, because there's some value to that. But you guys support, I will share more. And one thing I know I have over a lot of the content creators that were inside that courtroom is they don't work like I do. They don't have the work ethics I do. And they don't do the things I do. And I understand that. That's just, they're there for whatever reason they were there for. But I really wasn't focusing on that. I didn't care about what the issues were going on with the line sitters and all that. Just don't interfere with my work. When you make a direct attempt to interfere with what I'm doing, that's when I have an issue. Someone said, I hope I get the Diddy interview. I'm cooking all the time, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can say. I'm cooking all the time. I'm cooking all the time. And fair disclosure, I've known Puff for over 30 years. So it's no surprise. I've known him over 30 years in all the businesses he have done. I've shot for Sean John. I've attended Revolt Music Conference, every one of them. I've covered Puff throughout his career. I've covered Kim Porter. I've covered Cassie. I've covered the kids when they were kids. These adults that you see now walking in and out the courtroom, I covered them when they were small. When they were very small. When some Puff didn't even have children when I met him. He had one. I think he had only one. If he had one. But I've been covering him for a long time. So I'm in a unique position. A very unique position. So when I cover this trial, I cover it from a perspective of knowing a lot more than the average person does about Sean. Also, that's a good question. Someone asked me, do I think that Sean John, Gene Jack, and maybe worth something? It might likely be. Like I have clothes from Def Jam. Still, Def Jam's worth something. It's a part of the culture. I own a lot of Puffy's images. Still worth something. You see what I'm saying? You get it. You guys understand. Have I? No, I haven't witnessed. I was as shocked as many of you when I saw that video of Cassie. I never seen no shit like that. Nor did I think he would do something like that. But you don't know what people do behind closed doors. I never seen that, and I don't condone none of that. And people keep asking. I've been to a lot of Puff parties. I've never been to a freak off. I've been to his parties. I don't think anyone was invited to the freak offs. Just his lady and those dance and those entertainers. But I've been to tons of Puff parties. He's had them on all parts of the country: Atlanta, New York, L.A., Chicago, all over the country. The guy, he pushed Ciroc, and he showed up at a lot of the Ciroc sponsored events. So yeah, of course. Michael Bush, you said we met at a movie premiere. Is it one that I produced the movie premiere? If you remember the movie, I don't know. No, my Cash App is at Hip Hop Inquirer, not at Dennis Byron. My Cash App is at Hip Hop Inquirer. That's my Cash App. You can, I'll type it there. Let me just type it there. Let me see here. How do I type this here? Let's see here. Just type in Hip Hop Inquirer. D, how you give me my wrong Cash App? Give me the right Cash App. See, I can't beat you like that. At Hip Hop Inquirer. That's it. Let me see if I can pin that. Let me pin that. Let's see. Can I pin that? Let's see here. Okay, D. Appreciate you, D. Appreciate you. And listen, guys, I'm dropping exclusive content in the membership section. This is your time. This is your time to get one of those memberships. I'm gonna drop the exclusives in the membership section. I'm on it, pop. Listen, I would have started dropping this yesterday, but I was fighting with some bees yesterday. Those bees was on my ass. But I'll be dropping it tomorrow. As a matter of fact, what time is it, guys? I was. I'm not sleepy. Okay, hold on. Let me see something here. I don't know the heart and show. I don't know how they do that. Okay. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, D. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Ray, don't Ray. I think you would have been defeated too, Ray. I think you would have been defeated too. Those bees was on my ass. I think you would have been defeated too. What did Doreen say? All right, listen up. Guys, tap up. Tap it up. Tap it up. All right, all right. Oh, it was Beast, me, and Yolanda were good friends. Wait a minute, hold on. Are you? It, it was Beast. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Michael, yes, yes, yes. That's the movie Ayana was in with Idris Elba. Were we in Atlanta or were we in LA? Oh, we were in Atlanta. Okay. Okay. Yes. Rest in peace to Yolanda Haley. Mm-mm-mm. Yep. Michael Bush. Let me see, Michael. I'm trying to see a picture, Michael. Yeah, man. Yo, that thing just, yo, my skin. Ooh wee. Mm-mm-mm. Yep. I definitely was at. I was at that premiere in Atlanta. It was. Yeah, I love Yolanda. I mean, I try not to think about it. I try not to think about it. But that's family. Manny, Yolanda, Manny Jr., Ayana. That's family. D. I can't tell you. I got interviews lined up. Of course, you know I'm on it. I'm on it. Absolutely. I'm definitely on it. Definitely on it. So I think I've been on for 80 minutes now. I think I made my point. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. I promise. I'll be back on. I gotta get some sleep. Let's see. Hold on. I don't have a CB anymore. You talk on the CB from down here. Really, I don't have a C. I haven't had a CB in 30 something years. Breaker, breaker, 1 9, breaker, 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 1 9, breaker, 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 breaker. We got phones now. We didn't have smartphones back then. We didn't have smartphones. You don't know what a CB is, but it's a citizens band radio, and I think we might need those, especially what happened in Texas, where the communication wasn't there. I think we need to have the CBs back out because that was necessary. With everything that happened in Texas. It wasn't in Laredo, Texas. Okay, you sent me a message on IG. Hold on. Hold on, let me check that out real quick here. Let me check my IG out. Oh. Let's see here. Okay, okay. I got you locked in. Big Bush, you locked in, player. Hold on, player. Big Bush, get one of these memberships, Big Bush. Look at you. You making Big Bush. I remember you. My man. I got you locked in. Yeah, I need to get a CB, man. Truly blessed. Thank you for showing up. I definitely need to get a CB. People think that's. I don't know where I could get. I'm gonna have to find one on eBay because I used to mount a CB. I used to have all kind of citizen band radios back in the day. I think if I can recall, I started out with like 40 channels or 41 channels, and then I got a really souped up CB that had over 300 channels. I don't know how powerful they are these days, but I'm gonna look into that. And the people used to have CBs in their cars, but I think it's necessary now. Maybe I'll look into that this week. Guys, I appreciate all of you. Oh yeah, the truck stop. That's right. That's right. And I see them at the truck stops all the time. Yeah, yeah, I see them at the truck stops. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. I really do for coming in, and just let me share my 2 cent. With that, I'll see you guys in my next live. I'm out of here. Peace.